Well, hello, everybody. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wentz. Sunday evening, you know what time it is to talk about the cold coming our way. We've highlighted this in the forecast over the last couple of weeks, and it's here. I mean, I know I'm not excited about it. I just want to get it over with so we can stop talking about it. Also, so we can get it over because cold is just not something fun. It's just not when you're worried about your home and your pipes and everything around you working, whether it be car batteries or whatever it is. It's just not a fun thing when it gets brutal cold. And that's kind of what we're slipping into here this evening. We've got a couple cold days ahead. So tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, mainly early on Wednesday. That's when the core of this cold air comes through. If I had to narrow it down to where the coldest portion of that air is going to be, like the worst of the worst, it's going to be Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Okay, so it's not pleasant outside right now, but it's going to get worse here over the next couple of days. So we're going to talk a lot about the cold. I'm going to put some official numbers on it. And then we'll look obviously long-term to see if there's anything coming our way that is going to help us out in terms of temperatures. So there's that. All right. Got a lot to get to here. I've got a couple of special announcements and things coming up with our sponsors. They want to get that word out. So I'm going to go through that while we let a couple more people join. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone that's here. Because I am 100% aware that NFL playoffs are going on right now, but I believe it's halftime or close to it. It was right when I started the broadcast. So hopefully we get a little break. We can chat some weather here, and I know we've got MLK Day tomorrow, so a lot of you off and just kind of relaxing here as we go throughout the Sunday evening. So a lot of things to get to. Sponsors, real quick. I want to start at the top. FBIBuildings.com. If you're looking for a new pole barn to be constructed, yes, these guys are out working in the cold. I'm not too sure about Monday, Tuesday, but they're constructing buildings all across, not just Indiana, but the Midwest. They've done over 20,000 of them. But basically what FBI Buildings does is they'll construct a pole barn structure, whether it be residential or commercial. They all look so modern. They're amazing. Or they'll renovate an existing one. So if you have an existing pole barn someone else did, falling apart, they'll come in, they'll renovate it, make it look like new. They do great work, FBIBuildings.com. Meals on Wheels of Northwest Indiana. Here's one of the special announcements. Melissa wanted me to let you guys know that they are not going to be delivering meals on Monday and Tuesday out of precaution for the staff and volunteers that work because it's just going to be so cold. All right. So they're not going to be doing that Monday and Tuesday. Should resume on Wednesday once again. So if you know someone that is perhaps getting these meals that's in need, or perhaps you're a volunteer and you didn't know that, if you guys could spread the word for me on that, that would be great. Plus, they have a huge event coming up, this is always a lot of fun. It's called Dine with the Chefs. All right. This is for Meals on Wheels. Proceeds go to them. They do amazing work in the community. But it's on March 2nd. It's at 11 a.m. And basically, this is a really fancy lunch where they get top-of-the-line chefs to come in. I'm not talking like restaurant chefs. I'm talking like famous chefs to come in. And basically, it's just a fun-filled afternoon. They start with amazing hors d'oeuvres. They have mimosas, Bloody Mary, signature cocktails, and then you sit down and do a 5-course gourmet meal. Tickets are $150 per person. Again, all the proceeds will go towards Meals on Wheels of Northwest Indiana, which is a great cause. And they have a special guest who is a speed painter. I've only seen this, I think, in videos. Like every now and then I'll flip through and see something like that. But they've got a speed painter, which is just awesome. And she's coming for the event, which is just going to be crazy awesome. So they've got entertainment as well. They've got great food. You have some drinks to warm you up as well. Just a great cause. So if you're looking for more information on that, go to Meals on Wheels of Northwest Indiana. Go to their website. You can get tickets on there. As we get close to the event, we'll share the QR code with you as well. But you can get information on the event. Wouldn't that be cool? Just take someone, maybe your girlfriend, best friend, whatever it happens to be, husband, wife. Take them to that event. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So that's that. Meals on Wheels in Northwest Indiana. PSA, that's our publicserviceadjusting.com is the website to go to. Unfortunately, we're going to have some insurance claims here coming up over the next couple of weeks with this cold. I know it. And they're going to result around burst pipes. If that happens, all right, we're going to give you some precautions. But if that happens, go to publicserviceadjusting.com. What they will do, they handle insurance claims. All right. Don't go to your insurance company first. Go to them. They come out. They'll take pictures, do all the work. They'll contact your insurance company for you, and they'll do all the chit chat back and forth, and they'll get you the money you deserve for it. Insurance companies are shorting people left and right. They're charging more now. Public Service Adjusting is basically on behalf of you. they'll get you the money you actually need. All right. They fight for it. They negotiate quite a bit. 5-star reviews across the board. Again, if that happens to you, unfortunately, that's the place to go. TigerPlumbing.net, place to go for your plumbers. We're going to have some plumbing problems here coming up. They are your go-to in terms of fixing burst pipes. You want to make sure you know where your shutoff valve is for your water for your house. They want us to remind that too. And all of your outdoor spigots should be covered with a nice cover right now, and your water line should be off to the outside of your house. Those are all tips from our family plumbers, tigerplumbing.net. If you have any issues, go to them. Minogue.life, Michael Minogue's been serving the world of healthcare, Medicare, Medicaid, life insurance, all that confusing stuff that changes every single year without you knowing. He knows it. He is a master of everything. He goes through all the paperwork. And with the new year, a lot of people have new Advantage plans. Some started with a phone call, and sadly, people just are unaware or unclear of all the benefits that they have. Other times, people are surprised to find that the providers, like doctors, hospitals, they're just out of network. And so you're paying a lot of money for that, and you thought they were in network. So Michael's happy to help people understand the coverage, if it's a good fit or not for you. He can explore what options you have. He sits down in his office with you for a no-cost review. So it's free to review this stuff. He'll ensure you take the best advantage of the plans that you have, and maybe you don't need as much. Maybe you're paying too much into your plan, or maybe there's another nugget you might need. There's no two plans that are alike. He'll help cater it to exactly what you need. And also, it's a good time to check and update beneficiaries and your life insurance. He can do all that for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Again, it's Minogue.life is the website. Kate Cusack, our home loan girl, she does real estate, right? She's our local lender. She's amazing. But she wants to be your local lender for all your home buying questions and needs. She understands that it's cold and snowy now. Not a lot of people in the home market right now, right? But spring will be here before we know it. And if you want to jump on that dream home or first home or whatever happens to be, you need to have your ducks in line as soon as that home hits the market in the spring, and it will go fast. So if you're considering a new home in 2025, Kate can help you get pre-approved and be prepared when your dream home hits that market. Call or text her anytime, 219-775-6645, or visit her at Kate Cusack Home Loan Girl here on Facebook. You can send her a message on there to get started. She'll help you get your ducks in the line for that dream home. Finally, last but not least, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They've been serving Northwest Indiana for decades. They've got all new Jeeps on the lot this year, ready to go. The Wagoneer is my favorite. It's not only is it spacious, but it's got all-wheel drive, which is what you need if you live in the snow belt like we do. But anyway, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Valparaiso, right on US 30 there. All right, let's talk about our early birds who are on board here, avoiding playoff football, to chat a little bit of weather. Jeff is with us. Jeff, hello. I hope you're doing well. Good to have you on board there, Mary. I see Mary's with us tonight. Susan, Deb. Yeah, and it is cold. It's only getting colder. I'm sorry. Sage Yourself's here. Darlene's with us. Justin as well. Susan's with us. Let's see. Mary as well. Marcia on our YouTube channel. Gail, Tom. Tom brings up a really good point. And I've had a lot of conversations with people, grocery stores, wherever it happens to be recently, just around how this is what winters have been like, or what they used to be like, right? We had a good 4-year stretch where we didn't have much lake effect snow. We didn't have cold that stayed. You know, they were really easy winters. We had a couple worse winters back in the last 20 years, but really it's been filled with some mild winters around here. And this is kind of what they used to be like, right? Where the snow's on the ground and it stays, it's cold all the time, and that cold stays, and it just doesn't change much. And that's where we are right now. So I'll use that kind of as, and Ken, I see you on there as well. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. I appreciate that. All right. So here's the big picture across the country. We showed this last week. It was the cold air was just starting to show up. And this is an infrared satellite, and you could see it even more on here. So infrared, just a quick Reader's Digest version of this. Infrared satellite picks up cold cloud tops. Okay, so in the summertime, when you get those cumulonimbus storms, the big cumulonimbus clouds that go way up into the atmosphere, 30, 40, 50,000 feet, those cloud tops are cold because they're at 30, 40, 50,000 feet high. So the infrared will pick up on that, and you'll see those big explosions of red on the satellite, right? Well, this time of year, when you have a really, really cold Arctic air mass, it thinks that's a cold cloud top. And so that's why you see all this coloration across the northern tier of the country, including here in the region. It thinks it's a cloud, and it's not. It's just cold air at the ground. So you can see all the rivers and streams. It just shows up really well on this. Really interesting to see. You can see how it kind of retreated today during the day. and now it's coming back at us because obviously we have nighttime cooling. But the other thing that I pick out as a meteorologist is big dip. The whole entire country has a trough allowing this cold air to come in. And the other feature is the subtropical jet stream. Look at the stream of clouds that goes all the way from the mid-Atlantic down towards Florida and then all the way back into Mexico, and that goes back in the Pacific. This feature you see driving out of areas of the Rockies right now, which is heading south, is going to meet with this subtropical jet stream, and this is going to spin up a winter storm that we looked at last week and said, at least I said, I'm pretty sure that's going to change because there's no way Florida gets an ice storm. I mean, it showed this nasty ice storm in Florida. Well, I was wrong. Things have not changed in the modeling. The models were pretty accurate with that. And we're going to be dealing with not just an ice storm, but a snowstorm of sorts for areas of the southeast. All right. Void from us, though. Everything's way too far south. So I want to start with this just briefly. Watch how this comes together. This is all cold wind, bringing cold air in place across areas of the deep south. Okay. This is tomorrow. This is tomorrow night. This is Tuesday. Look at Houston. Houston's picking up a mix of ice and some snowflakes. This heads over towards New Orleans. Here's New Orleans right in here. They're going to be getting snow out of this. And eventually all this heads over to Florida with an ice storm for some. And then you get the ice up into areas like Savannah, Georgia, Valdosta. And then there's snow mix in there as well before it changes over to really cold rain. I have some people who they're viewers of where I work on TV station, and they're heading down to Florida this week, and they're in the Florida Peninsula, like Tallahassee or like 38 area. That's not beach weather. They're gonna be dealing with snowflakes outside. You don't want to go to the beach in that. Just incredible how cold this air mass is, but that is going to be the national story the next couple days. As a result, look at all these winter storm warnings and watches that are out along the I-10 corridor down south. If you happen to have travel plans on business, perhaps, maybe you're going to a national championship game tomorrow, cheer on Notre Dame in Atlanta. It's just, they're going to be dealing with some snowflakes there in winter weather, especially south of Atlanta as you get down towards I-10. Just incredible there. Meanwhile, today is no slack. We have a winter storm ongoing. If you were watching playoff football, you saw the Philadelphia Eagles playing at home, right? And you saw the snow on the ground and the snow flying around. They've got a snowstorm in areas of New England right now that's going to bring 4 to 6 to portions of Philadelphia up towards the Boston area, eventually into Portland. So they're dealing with snow there. We've got snow on the Gulf Coast. I'm thinking about spring golf course. And then we have lake effect snow locally, but we have no winter storms here. All these other places are getting winter storms before we do. This is really small writing, but I'll just read it to you real quick. This is the write-up from the National Weather Service in New Orleans. They are expecting major impacts from 3 to 6 inches of snow along and north of I-10. And then in New Orleans itself, probably 1 to 3. But look at some of the stuff that they say. I mean, from 1 to 3 inches of snow in the southeast. If you must travel, keep an extra flashlight, food, water in your vehicle. If you can delay travel or just get away from it, don't travel. Take a winter storm kit like chains, booster cables, flashlight, blankets, extra clothing. I mean, you get the idea. We would kind of scoff at that, right? With 1 to 3 inches of snow, but this is so impactful for them because they just don't have ways to remove it down there. So a lot of that snow lands on the ground, becomes ice, and then the ice just doesn't go away till it warms up. The good news is it is going to start to warm up over the next couple of days down there, but so it won't last too long. But look at this. This is the country right now. And remember, our last post on Saturday was about the change in the wording in terms of cold weather advisory, extreme cold warning, extreme cold watch. And you can see all these these blue light shade areas like turquoise. Those are your cold weather advisories. They go from here all the way down to the Gulf Coast. This is impressive even for January, all right? The fact that it's reaching that far south, extreme cold warnings out towards the north. That's where the real nasty stuff is. So here's the air mass. I'm going to kind of play this out for the week so we can kind of see how it evolves. Then we'll dive into the details in terms of these numbers. But you can see core of it starts to come in here tomorrow, okay? Big old chunk of cold air. This is displaced from the North Pole. So this is air that was over the North Pole a couple days ago, got displaced into Canada, and now is in the United States and southern Canada. I mean, it's really cold up here. You think we're cold. Northern areas of southern Canada are in the minus 30 to minus 50 degree wind chill range. It's just incredibly cold there. But you can see how that core of that cold air comes in tomorrow. And then if we really had to pinpoint it, it would be Tuesday and the Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Right there is when the worst of the cold is going to be here. But then it heads out. All right, we kick it out into New England. And then watch this. We kind of moderate for a little bit. Nothing crazy, but this next weekend looks better. And then we get another shot of cold air, says most of the modeling. Doesn't look quite as bad. This one looks to target more so New England. This would be to end the month of January. All right. Still cold, but you see how the core of this is now over like New England versus the Central Plains. So there's that. And we're starting to see some signs of perhaps some spring here. You can see how Texas, areas along the Gulf Coast will be up in the 60s and 70s after they have snow. So it must be nice, right? We have to wait till May. And then another chunk may be coming down for early February. So kind of silly there. All right. I know these numbers are small. I'm gonna call out my forecast and I'll just show you these. These are the wind chill values. Car batteries, for example, just care what the temperature is. They don't care what the wind chill is. And plus it's covered. So temperatures do matter in this, but for us humans walking around in it and having to get outside and deal with this, it's the wind chill that matters. All right. So I'm going to share wind chill numbers with you. So tonight, I've got an air temperature of -2 is what we'll get down to. I've got a wind chill of -16 tonight. Okay. That's basically the average for the nighttime. Okay. Tomorrow, here you go. These are your wind chills. Our temperature tomorrow, I have going up to between 8 and 10. And then a wind chill value of anywhere between -3 and -8. So not terrible tomorrow, but cold. And then that real cold stuff sets in. All right. Monday night, I've got a low temperature going down to -7, and I've got a wind chill of -24. Okay. This is legit cold Monday night. Tuesday, a high of 2. I've got a wind chill of -15. So we're still not improving on Tuesday. All right. It's going to be worse. And then Tuesday night, I've got us going down to -5 with a wind chill of -17. So that means waking up Wednesday morning, we've still got some really cold air around here. So a lot of teachers, a lot of kids want to know, what are we doing about school Wednesday? Okay, we don't have school tomorrow. A lot of schools are going to be canceled on Tuesday if they're not already. What about Wednesday? Wednesday is going to start just as cold, like dangerously cold Wednesday morning, but by afternoon, we'll see some improvement. So I've had some teachers ask already, do you think they'll do a 2-hour delay on Wednesday? And if your superintendent has to make those decisions, we'll wait and see based on temperatures. And we can get another day into this and make sure, our temperature forecast is legit. But as we get into the afternoon on Wednesday, our wind chill goes up to 8 to 9. All right. So we'll get better. But I don't know if a 2-hour delay would help. A half day, maybe, like noon is really when we'll improve. And the other thing is there are cold weather advisories out through Tuesday at this point. I would imagine those will get extended till Wednesday. I would have it running probably till noon on Wednesday. So we'll see if they extend that. But again, we're going to stay really cold around here until about noon on Wednesday. All right. That's when the dangerous cold stuff goes away and we just have cold weather around here. All right. So that's the stretch we have to get through. And you can see how we have moderating wind chill values as we go into the weekend. I mean, feeling like 27 next Saturday. Wow. What a bonus, right? So that's that in terms of wind chill values. Okay. So just precautions. I mean, we got to talk about it. Pets need to come inside. All right. That should be a given. In terms of pipes, I know you guys know this, but just a reminder, you want to run water in your pipes. Okay. And you should actually be running it not at a slow drip when it gets this cold. It should be like, the size of a pen, like that. And I know that sounds like a waste of water, but you need to have that flow going through your pipes. And you want to do that, especially with any faucets that have pipes that are towards the outside walls of your house, which a lot of pipes are. A lot of them, like let's say you have an island in your kitchen and you've got water there. You probably don't need to run that one, right? But if you have a bathroom faucet, which, the pipes go over towards the outside of the house, those are the ones you want to protect, the ones that get the coldest. And, I had someone also ask, and I had to look this up. If you have a septic system, septic systems can freeze as well. And you typically hear like gurgling and stuff with your pipes and creaking and moaning. Maybe not moaning of the pipes, but you know what I'm saying, like creepy noises coming from your pipes. And with septic systems, you need to run water with faucets for the water lines. But with septic systems, as long as you want to run hot water, but as long as you're taking showers or you're doing the dishwasher, or laundry with hot water, which you're supposed to wash everything cold now. But anyway, you understand that. As long as you have hot water every now and then going through your septic system, it should be okay. All right. And I've heard tips like you want to insulate around the septic system too, like top of your septic tanks, put some straw down. Just put something to kind of insulate it. That can help. It's not that you need to do that, but septic systems can freeze as well. The septic line's going out. And so as long as you're consistently running hot water every now and then, doing your normal loads of laundry and showers and dishwasher stuff, it should be okay. All right. If not, you might want to let the hot water run for a little bit. Okay. So just some precautions there. Car batteries are the other one. You really can't do much about that. I mean, you could put a blanket over your car, park it in the garage. If you have a heated garage, I mean, my goodness, great, right? But in terms of car batteries, I mean, they just don't like the cold. They don't. And if your battery's, 3, 4, 5 years old, you may have some problems next couple mornings getting up. So these are the things we deal with. So there's that. But again, spring is on the way. So just keep that in mind. All right. So hopefully that helps. Let's talk about snow chances and I really don't want to spend much time on this because it's kind of boring. There's really not a lot of snow coming our way. There is a lot of lake effect snow right now in Southwest Lower Michigan, and that's going to continue over the next couple of days. Watch how as we go through time, the lakes are just steaming. This cold air coming across what is a cold lake, but is a lot warmer than the air. They're literally steaming. And so you get all these lake effect snow bands off the lakes, but the wind flow is not going to produce any snow here in the region. Last week when we looked at maybe a day or so where it would get into Porter and Lake County. I don't see it now. Flow is going to stay consistent out of the west. So you notice here's that storm system down to the south. Little Clipper system. We would have to watch this. This may develop some snow along it. This would be Wednesday night and a Thursday this week. We may get some snow off of that. Not a lot of moisture with that, though. That's the thing with these polar cold air masses from the North Pole. This does not have Gulf of Mexico moisture with it. It doesn't even have Pacific moisture with it. This is from the North Pole. There's no ocean, right, that it's getting a ton of water off of. It's all ice up there. And so there's just not a lot of moisture available. We may, over the next couple of days, see sun pillars. All right. That's where you have those beams of light going up in the sky. Those typically happen. I've seen them a lot at sunrise. I've heard towards sunset you can see them as well, or even at night. We may see those because the air is just so cold and there's little crystals in the air flying around. Every now and then we'll just get some flurries. That's just how polar air masses go. They're really unique, but you also get a lot of sunshine with them as well because there's a lack of moisture. So we are in store for a lot of sun this week, which is good. But again, I don't see a lot of lake effect snow. So we'll go through time, a little bit of snow, maybe Wednesday night, Thursday. Another system we'll have to watch. Euro's not impressed this weekend. And then you see, I mean, there's another system zipping by. This is the one that brings the cold air back into the northeastern U.S. This may shift. I mean, this could shift further south or it could just go away in the modeling. But again, the models have been pretty good. But we'll have to keep an eye on that one. That just brings colder air with more lake snow for Michigan. And then maybe some kind of active weather as we get into the beginning of the month. But I'm not really seeing much as of this evening's or this afternoon's 12Z run of the Euro. And the GFS kind of agrees. No big major snowstorms for us over the course of the next 5 to 7 days. All right. So that's kind of where we'll leave it for there. In terms of snowfall across the country, look at the Great Lakes and look down south. I mean, they're going to have more snow in New Orleans than we're going to have here in the region over the next week. Like that's just kind of how the winter's gone in terms of snowfall. We've had the cold, but we have not gotten hit by the storm yet. And the storm track right now, it's just too cold. It's way too far to the south. So that Gulf of Mexico moisture is really tied to right where that ribbon is down towards the south. So pretty amazing how, Northwest Indiana doesn't get much snow. Meanwhile, New Orleans and areas just north and east of Houston will have more than us. And then in terms of temperatures, this is the last thing I have for you. And then we'll answer your questions. So if you have anything that you want to discuss or any questions you have, I'd be happy to answer those for you before we get you on your way. But here are temperatures over the next 10 days or 15 days, however many are here. Here's our dip over the next, Monday, Tuesday, into Wednesday. And then a little moderation this weekend. Boy, is that going to feel nice, though. And then, Euro's saying maybe 40 next Monday. We'll see. The GFS is much cooler than that. But here's your second dip of cold air coming in. Not as bad as the first. I think just kind of looking at it, I can kind of come. Well, I can't quite say it yet. I was going to say this is the coldest air of the season. All right. Our cold air masses are going to start to moderate from here, but we've had some really cold air in February before. So I'm not going to say it yet, but this could be our coldest air of the winter season. And so just know that when you're out and about the next couple of days, just say it doesn't get any worse than this. All right. That's kind of where we're going with that. But there is more cold air coming our way next week. Most of the models agree with that. All right. So that's all I've got for you weather-wise here. Let me get back to, I'll just go back to this because it's pretty to look at. And let's answer your questions for you, okay? Let me see. Yeah, Iron Jim, number 7, saying, I hope we don't get too much more bitter cold. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. That's the good news. I mean, we've got this hit this week. Again, this will go through Wednesday at noon, okay? Bitter cold, basically now until Wednesday at noon. That's a cold stretch, and that's a long stretch too. Typically, we get 2 days of bitter cold around here, but when we're pushing 3, that's when we start to have some problems. Again, your house is going to start to make noise. Wood floors are going to make some noise. Everything's going to kind of creak a little bit. So things don't do well in this cold, but hopefully we'll get through it. Keep the heat turned up at night too. That's another good tip. I know, you probably don't want to sleep with the heater on like full blast, but just to keep the house warm. And we've got a couple days again that we're dealing with that. Leanna, you're welcome. Yeah, I appreciate that. She says, I love that you share these tips too, not just the weather. I mean, that is, Leanna, when it comes down to it, that is my job as a meteorologist, is to not just give you the weather, because anyone can get the weather on their phone nowadays, but to give you ways to apply it, things that you need to do in your life that to deal with the weather, if that makes sense. So, I mean, that's what we specialize in, severe weather as well. Like, what do you need to do? Do you need to freak out about this, or is it not a big deal? And that's kind of what we deal with. Okay. Kristen is on team no more snow. So there's that. I know. I don't think people are really too worried about snow anymore. A lot of people before Christmas were like, where's my snow? And now it's like, there's that. So we'll see. Let's see. Maxwell says, climatology speaking, where is our coldest part of winter? The gain of daylight will make an impact on our atmosphere soon. You're right, Maxwell. So things are always delayed. So we've been gaining daylight, right, since the 21st, albeit slowly, but we're starting to gain faster now. February is always the month where in my mind, where you notice the daylight gain, where you're like, okay, yeah, things are getting later. And then obviously it makes a difference come March, where we start to get some warmer days around here. But in terms of climatologically, Maxwell, we are sitting right at the 20th. These are the coldest days of winter typically. I believe, and this is from last year, I didn't look it up this year, but from last year, if I remember, it's like the 16th through the 22nd or 23rd, somewhere around there. That's our lowest average low, if I remember right. It's sometime right around now. But by the end of the month in early February, that's when the average highs start to go up, albeit slowly, but we are trending in the right direction. And I even noticed tonight, I mean, the sun is setting later. We've gained like 30 minutes or whatever on our sunset. So we're starting to notice it, and that sunrise is getting earlier in the morning as well. So we're getting there. We are getting there quick. All right. Here's a good question from Susan. What's the difference between sun pillars and sundogs? So Susan, sundogs occur usually, they occur any time of year, but they usually occur in the summertime when we have like high cirrus clouds coming in off of thunderstorms, which are far away. So sundogs are when the sun is in the sky, and then you've got the halo around the sun, but usually can't see that. You see the 2 bright circles on the side of the sun, kind of off in the distance from the sun, right? Or sometimes you just have one. It's like a second sun that's up there. That's because of high cirrus clouds coming in. Whereas sun pillars or light pillars are basically beams of light that go up in the sky, and those are typically from a lot of times it could be from like cities, or things in the distance when you see them at night. And what happens is it's not cirrus clouds in the sky, it's crystals, like snow crystals in the air. When it gets so cold, you tend to have these little tiny ice crystals in the air that are around, and those can cause light effects from the sun, or lights from a distant city, like across a lake or something like that. And they can also, same thing with the sun, you can get it playing around with those, and you can get pillars in the sky that come up. So fascinating stuff, but it's the only time you get light pillars and sun pillars is when you have really cold Arctic air masses. And that's what we have. And I remember last year we had a really cold air mass, and I was driving home from work and I saw 2 sun pillars, and it was really cool. It's like a heavenly experience. This looks like pillars of light, and they go away pretty quickly. So there's that. All right, Maxwell, you are welcome. No problem. All right, I think that is it. Oh, Tom brings up a good point. Sunshine beginning to feel stronger. Hopefully spring is around the corner. Yes, Tom, I love your optimism. That's good. We're getting there fast, right? All right, guys, I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing on this lovely Sunday night. I hope you guys stay warm. Please take care of yourself. take care of people as well. Whoever, if there's someone in need, or maybe you have a family member, just check up on them, make sure the heat's working. And again, we've got all sorts of people in our sponsor list that can help out with this cold weather should you have a problem. So feel good about that. All right, guys, thanks for joining me tonight. All right, stay warm. Hopefully I'll bring you some good news in the forecast. All right, bye.